Hello everyone, in this video we're going to be talking about opening a bank account in Thailand in 2023 and how it is affecting possible visas in Thailand also. So guys, as you all know, I've been coming to Thailand for quite a long time and I used to have a Bangkok bank here. And back in the day when I opened that bank account, it was like super easy. You just go into the bank with your passport, proof of address in Thailand, and you could pretty much open an account with a small deposit. But up until last month, things have changed completely. Even previous to that, before they started to clamp down on tourists opening bank accounts, but it just differed from branch to branch, and you could literally like jump around a few different branches and someone would eventually probably open an account for you and you could do it that way. Like, you can check online now, there's loads of videos about it and blogs about it. But last month, guys, everything has changed, and I'm gonna explain a bit about it to you guys now, because I was actually looking online after this happened to me yesterday and I couldn't find any information on it. So basically, I went to try and open a bank account yesterday and I spent, guys, from 10 a.m. until when the banks closed just going around all the different banks. I tried Bangkok Bank, SCB, Kasikorn, Krung Siri, Krung Thai, and also I tried a Chinese bank that's over in Emporium. Yeah, I really did try. I went in Terminal 21. I went to like all the different branches there also, and I encountered a lot of problems, guys, trying to open a bank account. I did not manage to get a bank account open. And also, while I was in the process of doing this, there was a massive argument in Kasikorn Bank with another foreigner, and I was just sat in the waiting room listening to what was happening. And yeah, it's kind of a weird situation at the minute, so I'll explain what is going on. So when you go into the bank now, guys, there's normally a girl there at the ticket machine, and when you ask to open an account, they're going to ask you, do you have your passport and work permit? Yeah, work permit. This is going to be a big problem for many people, as a lot of people might be here like I am, just working through YouTube and other online sources where you cannot really obtain a work permit. So yeah, it's kind of weird at the minute, and if they see you've got a tourist stamp in your visa, it's just like they just look at it and they just say, no, you cannot open an account. You need a stamp of at least a minimum 1 year before you can open an account. So that means you're either going to have to get like a volunteer visa, an education visa, or a marriage visa. But this is where the next problem arises, because it doesn't sink in. The bank accounts and the Thai immigration must not be in sync at the minute, because there was a huge problem when I was there in Kasikorn Bank and I was listening in on the foreigner. He was going absolutely crazy, which really he shouldn't have been doing, because it will get you nowhere. He was like literally screaming at the staff. Everyone in the bank was just like shocked watching. I was listening to what he was saying. The security was called, but I'll cut a long story short. Basically, guys, so if you want we'll just say marriage visa, because this is what was happening with the guy. This guy was applying for his marriage visa, right? So if you go to Thai immigration and you want a marriage visa, which will give you a 1 year stamp, they want 400,000 baht in a Thai bank account 3 months before you can apply for the marriage visa, to show you have proof of funds, right? Pretty straightforward enough. But you cannot go into the bank and just open an account so easy. So like, he was going mad. He had a letter from immigration to say that he needs to open an account to get the visa. He showed it to the bank, but because of the new rules and regulations, the bank just were refusing him to have a bank account. So I was sat there and I was like, oh, well, I have no chance now. So I moved to another bank. I moved around, and it was just the same story from every bank. So I finally found one bank where the girl's English was superb. So I decided to ask her and explain everything to her. And I just asked her, like, what can I do? And she just had no idea. She was understanding what I was saying about the visa. I cannot get a year's visa unless you open a bank account. For certain visas this is, guys, and the only advice they give you is either buy the Thailand Elite visa, which is absolutely ridiculous money. I mean, if you're rolling in the cash, it's probably worth it. You pay like 1 million bahts, and I think you get 10 years in and out of Thailand as you please as a citizen, with like airport lounges, VIP treatment, limos to and from the airport, all of that kind of stuff, fast track through the airport. So if you've got a lot of money and money is nothing to you and you're thinking of staying in Thailand long term, it is a good option, I suppose. But the reality is most people aren't going to drop $20,000 for a visa. So the only other option you really have in this case is to go, I went to the visa consultant after, and it's to pay for an education visa for a year, which is pretty pricey as well, guys. It's like 80,000, between 70 and 80,000 baht for an education visa for a year, which will have Thai classes involved if you want to do them. Generally, if you get one of these education visas through a visa consultant, you never have to show up for a class anyway. You just pay the money and you get your stamp. But 80,000 baht, guys, works out at about like $2,500, something in the range of that. So it's quite pricey for a one-time payment for a visa. I mean, you do get a year for that, which is great. But for me, it's not so great because you cannot come and go from Thailand as you please. You need to apply every time for a re-entry permit. So for example, if I want to go from here like I did the other week to Vietnam, it's not a case of just deciding, oh, tomorrow I'll go to Vietnam. You have to apply for a re-entry permit. Once you've got the re-entry permit, you can go, but they can take, I think, up to a week to get, and you have to pay for them. I think you have to pay every time you re-enter Thailand a fee of like 1,000 baht or something like that, which is like $30. So someone who bounces around as much as me, this isn't really ideal either. This is ideal for those who are coming to Thailand for a year. They're going to study. Their plan is to not leave Thailand. It's probably okay, but like when you like to move and go to Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, it's just not really that ideal for me. A lot more planning is involved. I think for all foreigners living in Thailand, this is probably one of the biggest difficulties they face and frustrations. It's visas, right? Especially when stuff like this happens, because I was just thinking about this when, like, I was listening to what this, I think he was a German guy, was saying in Capricorn Bank. He was going nuts. Like, I mean, I can understand his frustration, but like screaming at the staff is going to get you absolutely nowhere, you know? Like, they said no. He starts to scream at them like it's not going to open his bank account. But I could understand his frustration because I was just thinking after that, like, oh, that's weird. So all of you know with Thailand, when you come in, you get 40 something days now, right? And then you can extend for a further 30 days in the visa immigration office. What I've done, I was just thinking this, like, even if you had a partner for like quite a long time here and you decided to get married, you have to show that you have 400,000 baht in a bank account for 3 months. But if you can only get a tourist visa for 2 months and cannot open a bank account, they're pretty much saying you have to buy a year's stamp somehow from somewhere. So it's kind of a money-making thing, and I could understand his frustration. He's waiting for the married visa. The immigration is telling him he has to have a bank account with the money in to get it, but the banks aren't letting him open a bank account. It's like they've changed the rules about the banking system, which I fully understand, to stop like money laundering and all this different kind of activities, but they're not in sync with the immigration, because immigration's telling him to go and open a bank account, but the bank accounts aren't letting him open a bank account. So it's a bit of a mess, these new rules and regulations with the Thai bank. I wish they could make it, I'm not saying make it like so easy to open an account, but like just look. I mean, it's easy to look. You can look at my passport and see I've been coming to Thailand for the last like 4 years a lot. So many stamps in the passport. If it's someone like that and they're saying they're going to stay for a longer period of time. Also, I have a rental agreement for 1 year. I showed them that, and I was like telling them my work, that I travel a lot, I go, I come back, and yeah, they just didn't care basically. Guys, you cannot open a bank account. So opening a bank account now in Thailand in 2023 is very, very difficult. If you're in my situation, if you're in a different situation, you come in here working with a company, super easy, you know. I see so many foreigners in the bank who have bank accounts, but they're working for some company, they have a work permit here. If you've got this, really, really easy. If you do not, you're kind of screwed. Yeah, so opening a bank account is seeming to be quite difficult. That's my story of trying to open one yesterday, and other tourists I've seen with exactly the same problem as me. Maybe I don't know everything, guys. I'm just telling you from my experience what's happening. So if anyone is living in Thailand like me, who doesn't have a work permit and within the last few weeks has opened a bank account, please let me know how you did it, because it's proven to be quite difficult. And many of you might say, oh, but why do you want to open a bank account now? We have Revolut cards, TransferWise cards, but every time you pull money out an ATM machine here, guys, it costs 220 baht, which is about $6 or more, every time you take out the ATM. So that adds up after a bit, and people will say, oh, why don't you just go into the bank with your passport and you can get it that way with no charge? And you can, but then you have to waste more time waiting in the bank, and the banks here are quite busy. So yeah, like just having a Thai bank account, even for payments in taxis, street food. If you haven't been around Bangkok a lot, you'll know it's all like QR codes, so everything's super easy to transfer from Thai bank account, even if it's Bangkok Bank to Kasikorn to SCB, super easy. All have online apps, take seconds to get there. So it is very like beneficial to have a Thai bank account, especially when you're staying here long term like myself. So yeah, that's pretty much my update for opening a Thai bank account in 2023 and how it might be affecting visas. Please, guys, let me know in the comments if you've had a similar situation or you know a way around it. Like, please write in the comments and let me know. Like I say, I'm not pretending I know everything. I'm just saying from my experience and the experience of others that I've seen with my own eyes in the bank. So yeah, kind of sucks, but hopefully we'll get one open in the next few weeks. The only way I think I can personally do it at the minute is pay for an education visa, which I don't really want to do, as I do like to travel a lot and go to Vietnam, and it just doesn't make sense for me to do that at the minute. So yeah, guys, please write in the comments, let me know, and help me get a bank account in Thailand in 2023. My Bangkok bank I have before, I actually went in there. I've still got the book and everything, because I haven't used it for like 3-4 years. Boom, closed. So yeah, that's pretty much my banking situation now in Thailand. Please help me if you can. Ciao.